This is Spare Parts, your show for all things motorsports. With your hosts, Stephen Cleary, Sean Cavarella, and Taylor Moore.
Hear that music?
Welcome to another episode of Spare Parts. Hi, I'm your host, Sean.
I'm Steven.
And I'm Taylor.
And Taylor, where are you this week?
I'm at Disney World. Yay!
I
Sick
fucking
invite.
hate you.
Why?
I like how there was two totally different responses there.
Well, okay. First off, it's been a shitty year. So I need an injection of serotonin in my life.
Fair enough.
Thank you. Thank you, Sean. Fuck you, Steven.
So, in terms of racing stuff, I mean, we could talk about the Disney World racetrack that used to be there, but I know it doesn't exist anymore, so we'll not talk about that. But we had a couple races this week. One that had some issues, and another one had some issues, I guess, also, to be honest.
Both had controversies. Both are questionable.
We're talking
Questionable,
NASCAR
yes.
and F1 this week, basically. It's kind of the only thing really going on now in the world. Oh, and also we got a whole other series that basically folded. We can talk about that too.
Yeah.
But we have to start with F1 because Taylor, you are only with us for so long, so you gotta go for fucking dinner at Disney.
Yes.
Yep. Don't hate you at all. So, Suzuka, friends, who stayed up to watch it?
Sadly.
Who tried to?
No.
I watched part of it.
I can't even say that I attempted, to be honest. I had too much wine and it was like asleep by 10:30.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I was I tried to watch it. I was excited when they started. And then over the course of the next hour after they red flagged it and we waited and waited and waited, I progressively got more and more depressed for being up for no reason. So I went to bed. So
Yeah, that's very fair.
You were smart. I was not.
yeah, when did you throw in the towel, Steven?
3 o'clock, about 5 minutes before they said, yeah, 10 minutes, we're going to start racing. I was like, oh, cool.
Oh my gosh.
See, I knew by like 2 o'clock it was going to be another hour and a half because that's just the way the FIA does things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're not quick to act, but sometimes quick to act.
Yeah, like
usually not.
quick to send a tractor to the track.
I
Okay,
was gonna say sometimes quick to call a penalty.
That too.
Okay, so both of you are touching on kind of like the controversial moments of
There was so many.
the race.
Like,
Yeah,
This
this
race
is going to
was a
be a whole
clusterfuck.
rant episode, not a rant minute. It's going to be a whole.
No, I know. There's a lot that did go wrong. So what do you want to start with?
No, it all went wrong.
I would just start with, first of all, the fact they thought they can race, and then all of a sudden, like, what the fuck are wet tires for?
Oh, I know. Oh, so we're gonna I feel like this is like that rant part 2 because I think we talked about this last week.
We did, and it's fucking annoying because other series can race in terrible conditions and can race in the wet, and it's no problem. You see it all the time, like WEC races in torrential rain, IMSA can race in torrential rain, IndyCar can be. F1 just needs moderate rain. Nope, we can't do it.
Which doesn't
They
I know,
literally
like
can't race in rain. It has to be not rainy and just wet on track. It's infuriating. And like I understand, like F1 is like, oh, we're trying to be safe about it. No, it's not safe.
okay, well the visibility, like you could see that they couldn't see jack shit. Like if it's a question of safety, then call it when the drivers can't actually see what's in front of them, right? But it doesn't, like, it time and time again we have like you get 3 laps and somebody hydroplanes spins into the wall, they red flag it, and
Yeah.
right? So
The last
I see.
good rain race we got was like the Hockenheim one, like what, 3 years ago?
2 years ago.
Oh yeah, that was a good one.
When everyone did just spin
Yes,
off, but they're just like, screw it.
Oh no, it was 3 years ago. That's right.
Which one was the one? Was that Sochi when Norris didn't make the right call? Because
Yes,
that was
that
another
was-
one in the
that was
rain that
last
was
year,
actually
yeah.
well done.
But
Yeah,
that was because the rain came with 5 laps to go.
true.
Yeah, you can't call that a rain race, really. It just sort
That's
of
true.
fucked with the ending.
Like I think the issue is Pirelli.
I would agree with you though, because what's the point? Like, what's
The
the point
Pirelli
of having
rain
wet
tire
tires if you
hasn't
don't use them?
changed in like 8 years. Maybe they made it thicker, but like I don't think it's a good tire. I don't think it has grip.
Yeah.
I think it has tread, but it doesn't have grip. So, yeah, I hate wet races now in F1 because it's not a wet race; it's an intermediate race. This race could have been really fun if they had just been like, you know what? Unfortunate what happened to the one Ferrari car, and just continue. Because, like, okay, what did you have in terms of incidents on the first lap besides Sainz crashing? You had Sainz crashing. Yeah, that happens.
Albon, right?
Albon had some kind of, I think, something broke in the car.
Yeah, like he had some sort of issue. Was out.
You had Seb,
Yep.
but that
Seb.
was contact.
Yep. Not really
Contact
a visibility
plus-
issue there.
I was gonna say contact plus probably a little bit of hydroplaning.
Right. And then, well, the Gasly incident after the Sainz incident. When he ran
Yeah.
into something on track, like some sort of board from whatever Sainz ran into.
It was a Rolex board, yeah.
And
Yeah.
maybe we shouldn't have fucking ad boards that close to a track that someone can hit. Not maybe tied down.
Yeah.
Or why are we using
I mean-
boards versus just like a wrap on that?
Like I'm starting to wonder though too, like there are also points of like, is this a question of it hasn't, like a race hasn't run in Suzuka in quite, like in what, 3 years, 3 years?
2 years, yeah.
So are there things that the track that like could have done better to manage the race?
Almost 100%.
Well, I would say it's 100%, right? I mean, it's a lesson
one of
that
those
they have
things
to
where it's
learn going forward.
Why can't you have some element of foresight within the FIA?
Yeah.
FIA being confident, you're funny.
But that's the biggest problem. It's the FIA is not competent. The FIA is not consistent. So when are we going to get what we need from the FIA to actually have good, decent races that are called well, the safety's actually looked after, and there's actual foresight?
I have no idea. Like, this race was the epitome of the FIA making it up as they go.
Yep.
I totally agree with you, Sean. Honestly, it was disappointing, I think, to see, like, yet again another example of it. But it really, I think, it takes away so much from like the fans' experience of watching a race, because the FIA, like, it's the backbone of like running a race. You know what I mean? Like, there's so many different things that need to happen, but like the FIA is supposed to be able to run it efficiently and well, so that everybody can enjoy themselves, from the drivers on track to the fans in the stands and
Yeah.
the viewers at home.
Yeah. But alas, we don't have that. So, aside from the rain and that debacle and the will they race, won't they race, and Steven that suffered through the whole delay, let's talk about the other issues of this weekend. Which one do you want to start with first? Do you want to start with the
Go
Max
chronological.
Championship, or do you want to start with the Gasly?
No, go with the Gasly thing. Go chronological.
Okay.
Like, we're already there. We've already started it with the whole. Well, so we can start with the whole wreck. So we already mentioned Sainz crashed, and here's, I think, the first point you can probably get to. If the board came off, Gasly's carrying it around. There was a ton of debris on the track. and it's a very tight part of the track, as Sean, you mentioned, where clearly the crash was close enough that the debris was not just from the car, because it was also a very heavy impact. There was also debris coming off the wall. There was a lot of cleanup that probably could have been done. They probably should have just red flagged it right there. But the FIA said, well, we got it started. We don't want to stop the race now, because then we might also make the call of, well, it's raining too hard now, and we should probably just call it.
Which they did anyway.
So, yeah. So realistically, with all the factors that were in play, you probably should have just thrown a quick red flag. Look at your weather map while they're cleaning up and just say, you know what, guys, it's going to be too wet and we're going to call it anyways. Let's just pause it and we'll see what happens. But no, we had to, let the cars go around, which led to Gasly having to make a pit stop, and everyone else behind the safety car led to him speeding past the tractor.
Which, okay. It's one of those things where, yes, it's dangerous for the tractor to be on track when cars are around. It is. It is 100% a danger, because you never know what can happen.
Right.
At the same time, Gasly was entirely an idiot there and was rightfully penalized.
I agree 100%.
There was far too many people saying that these were not mutually exclusive events. You can say both parties were in the wrong.
Yes. It's the same thing with the actual Jules Bianchi crash that happened that killed him. Yes, that tractor was in a bad spot and really shouldn't have been there. Should have been Bianchi going at race pace through double yellows. No. But that's why we now have things like virtual safety cars, so we can actually control cars' paces. Gasly, I don't know why he was going fast through there almost at race pace. He was rightfully to be penalized, but yeah, that tractor should not be on there. Or tractors should maybe have actual GPS on them, so they can appear on maps for teams to alert drivers, being like, "Hey, tractor in the area, heavy equipment around there. Slow down, look out." Why is that not a thing that we can do? They have the technology. Why can't they do that?
Which is
sorry. The fun part of staying up for the hour was the amount of discourse we got on this. There was a whole bunch of ideas like that thrown out, or throw some high visibility strips, because you couldn't see it. There was two little brake lights. That's all you could see.
Yeah, have some flashing lights.
Have some flashing lights on there. Or the stupidest part, and we don't even need the GPS tracking. We have much simpler technology that has been around for decades that could have solved this issue, which was race control just says, hey, teams, we're going to have a heavy tractor out on the track. Extra caution through this little bit here. That's all that happened. Because I don't know if Sean, I don't think you were able to pull this on F1 TV. As they were doing the interviews, all of the principals and drivers that were getting interviewed, well, it was mostly the principals I was focusing on here. All the principals were like, we didn't know there was a tractor on track until our drivers told us behind the safety car.
Yeah.
How do you not send out a radio message to just say, we have heavy equipment on the track?
We saw last year they could communicate with the race director.
Yeah.
And they changed it to this year where they can't communicate with the race director. Race director can communicate with them. Race director should have a talk all button and just hit it and be like, hey, all teams, be advised. Why is that not a thing? Why is that not a protocol? Why are they constantly a step behind and never on the ball and don't have fucking foresight?
Are we sure that it's not a protocol? Like, it's not already an established protocol, though? And, like, I'm just trying to think of from a safety aspect and from, like, the actual, like, from a marshal's perspective. There are ways in which you're supposed to be letting cars know on track that there is danger up ahead or that there is something on the track that they should be aware of, right? Like, that's the whole purpose of flags. That's the whole purpose of lights when you're on an F1 track. So I'm wondering if there was a, like, I'm actually not wondering. I'm pretty certain that there was a communication breakdown because they should have been aware that there was something there. So somebody's
I
at
agree.
fault for that. Somebody messed up.
I would almost bet that they didn't think about the tractor on track because they were too busy debating if it was too wet.
Yep.
Probably. They probably did. And something like, because I'm just, from the experience on the other side of the fence, like the communication that we receive is like clear. Like the captain always knows what's going on, like where things are on track. So like people do know, and they're supposed to be alerting in the ways that we we're able to, the car's on track. But also like it should be communicated from the FIA, like the decisions that are coming down, because double yellows and reds come from control. Like they don't come from like the people
corner.
on the corners, right? Yeah. So it is like, it's honestly, it's kind of shocking, and it was definitely a misstep, 100%, that could have resulted in a driver getting injured, but also like agreed, like Gasly was at fault for going at almost race pace.
Especially when you know there's already been an incident in the area, you should expect something on track.
Yeah, and I think what was kind of a little bit frustrating was the drivers not recognizing that mistake.
Oh,
and
drivers are never at fault, right?
Right, but like I understand that it's like, oh, it's disrespectful to Jules, but it's like, okay, but first off, there are other things happened. It's not necessarily something that's disrespectful, but also you shouldn't be going that fast. So it's the same thing that happened with Jules. It was unfortunate, but he was also going at almost race pace. Like,
yeah,
unfortunately, you can't take those mistakes out of those tragedies.
Yeah, those tragedies happen because there's a mistake.
Mm-hmm.
Like it always does.
Yeah, like it's on both sides. Like it's not something that can be like clear cut as to like whose fault it is, but yeah, I think that there's a lot of...
It's 70-30, I would say. It's 70-30 that the FIA is 70, Gasly 30, you know. They could have done something, they could have said something, they could have alerted people. Gasly, if you're dumb enough to be ripping around that speed and you go up the ass of that thing, I'm sorry, why the fuck were you, like... Again, thankfully he didn't, let's be honest. Thankfully no one got hurt, everything was fine.
Yes.
But you have to also assume some responsibility there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, 100%.
Yeah. And that's the disappointing part with all of the, if we're going to go over everything here, the Sky team's analysis was absolutely brutal, because it seemed like most of them just wanted to put it purely on Gasly, and the FIA has done nothing wrong. I will say, in fairness, Karun Chandok did walk it back a little bit after watching the replay, and he's like, I'm not saying it's purely Gasly's fault, but they seem to sort of go the other way and put most of the blame on Gasly, which I don't think was
so
right.
I didn't watch any of the Sky stuff, like, because I was watching F1 TV, so that's the Channel 4 stuff. Yeah, they were more of like, why the hell is a tractor out there? They did not blame Gasly at all.
Yeah. Interesting.
And, it was Chandok, Johnny Herbert, I can't remember who else, but I was sort of sitting there in my sleep deprived state, wondering what was going on, and if I had just fallen asleep and was in some sort of fever dream or something. It was confusing.
I mean, you probably were.
Probably. But yeah, it was a long hour of debate.
Yeah.
And it was, the other thing that was shocking was how long it took them to get to like the actual, or for the actual, like Brundle and the team, and Kravitz and the team, to get actual footage of it, because they didn't talk about it for like 40 minutes. And in the end, they saw it first. In the end, Brundle and Kravitz played it out really fairly, and it was very much focusing on why the fuck is the tractor out there in the first place. It's on the track. Why is it there?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which is how we should. That's the main thing we focus on, and then we can go down to because in the end, Gasly shouldn't be going that quick. Is he technically allowed to? I guess a bit of a gray area. He can technically, like if it's completely dry and there was no tractor out there, no one's making any big deal of it, right? Like he's just catching the pack.
I do think people also lose their mind about tractors too much. Like it was the same thing when like they had to get a tractor out to get Ricardo in Italy. People, there's always that sect of F1 who are like, why is a tractor ever on the track? It's like, well, what are we gonna do? Leave a fucking cart there?
Yeah.
Yeah, like how
Sorry, do you want like a
expect them to
helicopter
get
to
that?
come in? We need one of those crane helicopters to come pick a car up and take it. No, like shit has to get removed somehow. I don't know what you're expecting. It's like, okay, you can take your, I guess, warped view of the world and understanding of physics, take them and just go somewhere else because that's not possible. And you can't have a fucking crane on every inch of a track. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
So yeah. Any other thoughts finally on the Gasly tractor incident? Tractor
Get a
gate? Tractor
helicopter.
gate.
Yeah, get a helicopter with a big magnet. There, problem solved.
I would say instead of using a helicopter, get a supervillain shrink ray, and that'll do it instead.
The
Yes.
Shrinkinator.
There you go.
I like that idea. That's a fantastic idea.
Results may vary.
Sure. Yeah, I think Sean, you put it perfectly. There's blame to go to both sides, but there's a very clear, bigger fuck up
Yeah.
on one side.
Yeah, again, like
So.
Taylor said it best. Like, there's clearly a breakdown of communication somewhere, and that has to always be, I think, communicated with teams and drivers. If there is
100%.
if there is a hazard on track, it's more important than I think a little bit of rain when. And to the race itself, I would have preferred if they just putted around the safety car for 6 laps, or like 30 laps or something. That would have been better than the fucking red flag.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so it's so tricky. I can understand the debate on the side of the FIA, but it is like it's just tricky when to call a red flag and when to not. But in this case, I would agree with you, Sean. I think it would have been better to just have.
If you
the safety
cannot
car.
maintain speed behind the safety car, then you can call for red flag. But if you're
Yes.
okay to putt around behind that thing, you're gonna putt around behind that thing.
Mm-hmm.
Steven, you disagree?
A little bit. That's not the kind of race I want to watch. But at the same time,
It's at least something on track.
yeah. The alternative is all the fans sitting in the rain, looking
And-
at a bunch of parked cars and gazebos. So
At least
Yeah.
you get your race distance, and there's no debate over, well, how many points should be awarded this race?
oh god,
There's nothing worse than winning the world championship and not knowing.
not no. Yeah,
That is
it must have been.
embarrassing.
It must have been a great doing 2 interviews the post race. I haven't won yet. We'll take it to Coda. It sucks we couldn't win. Race or next interview. So how does it feel to be a 2-time world champion back to back?
Yeah.
Excuse me? What?
Yeah, apparently, Max, you did win. So give us your thoughts. Okay, thanks for telling me.
Yeah.
Oh,
There was
What an
so much confusion.
embarrassment. Oh my gosh.
And I mean, I guess looking at the rules, they did technically rule it right because the race did technically continue. Did they make full distance? No, but the race continued and technically finished. So
Mhm.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, okay, which side of the rules does this fall under? It didn't go full distance, but it did finish. But it was timed, but it wasn't the distance.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, well, it's just so cringeworthy. It's just nobody seems to have like an idea of what's going on ever.
I love that Verstappen's 2 championships are just controversial as fuck. I'm sure it really sits well with him.
Is it gonna be
Yeah.
2? Do we know?
I mean, this one's not really controversial. You would have won it next race probably. Anyway.
He would've-
When you walk back the points, Perez would have to win out and get fastest lap, and Max would have to score no points, and he would still only make it, I think, by 2. Perez would win by 2 points, so it's not like it's controversial on who would win. There's a very low chance.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Realistically,
I'm
he finishes it off in
happy he
Coda.
won. Because the rest of the season, fuck it. See what happens.
I'm kind of glad that he has a championship. Like, okay, y'all know, not a Max fan, but I am glad that he finally has a championship that doesn't have a big, gigantic asterisk beside it. He had a fantastic season. He's still probably going to have a fantastic season. Honestly, he deserved it, and I don't think anybody could say otherwise. The Red Bull was good, and he drove fantastically. So,
Yep.
good for him. Good on you. Yeah.
Yeah. We can, talk about his season as a whole later and kind of really go through it. But for the most part, yeah. Max, you won the championship. No surprise.
Mm-hmm.
Have fun the next couple races. Just start from the back every single race and just see. Just try.
See what happens.
I would love that. Just
That'd be
don't even
great.
qualify.
Yep. I want the camera facing down right on him, and he can do the that one YouTuber who's just going through the entire pack on easy mode singing Katy Perry. I want to see that.
Yeah, okay, so Max, here's what we're going to have happen. You're now going to start every race in the back, and we're just going to live stream your Spotify playlist that's going to be directly into your ears as you race. Have fun.
Yep.
Wins by 30 seconds. Yeah, good for Max. Leclerc, you had a chance, and you blew it.
Yeah.
Sorry, Taylor, I had to get that dig in there.
I'm just over it now, The pain is just numb.
What do we think of the time penalty that knocked him back to second or third, from second to third?
I mean, if this was 1988, he would have been disqualified from the race. So, I think a time penalty is correct.
Yeah, Bernardo disagrees with you, but Bernardo would disagree no matter what.
Bernardo needs to be launched into the sun at this point. He's an absolute idiot. Don't like him. Goodbye. Sayonara. You're stupid.
Ocon was a nice fourth.
Yeah.
Ocon had a very good race.
Good for him after his engine blew up last race, so.
Yeah. Oh, and back to the whole Gasly thing. Of course, he had a terrible race because he signed with Alpine.
Yeah, that's right.
There you go.
So
he signed with AlphaTauri.
Yeah, that should have been known.
Oh, sorry. He signed with Alpine.
Oh, I got what you meant. And Nick DeVries with AlphaTauri.
Yes.
Hmm.
I'm glad he got a seat. I'm glad DeVries got a seat finally.
Yeah. He finally broke Marcus Ericsson's streak of getting everything right.
Oh, well.
He was
I'd say
8 for 8 until then.
Yeah, I'd say he's fine with that.
Yeah, that's fair. I think we
control
need to talk
everything.
about the performance of the weekend.
The GOAT? The real reason that they awarded full points?
No, it's because Sebastian Vettel, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
That was fantastic.
That was a great finish, and
That
Alonso was
was.
super pissed.
Yeah.
What was it? Overtake denied, Steven?
Overtake denied, but because he had used all his energy deployment, but he was also pissed because he wanted to come in 2 laps earlier, and they left him out, saying, no, you can't come in. And then you lose by that much in a much better car. Yeah, Alonso has every right to be pissed.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, it's very fair.
He would have beaten Seb down the straight, and if he had 2 more laps, he would have blown past him and maybe would have been chasing down. Well, no, he wouldn't have had enough time to catch Hamilton, but he would have been closer to Hamilton than Seb and him were on his actual strategy. So,
but yes, we can talk about the GOAT now, Steven.
Well, do you want to talk about the fact that he couldn't remember how the course worked?
It was all a ruse because Latifi got points. Points, not just 1. He got 2.
Yeah. He's no longer 21st in a 20-car series.
Hey, he did something Albon and DeVries didn't do that Williams. Beat both McLarens.
Oh yeah.
Like, they were
That's-
technically the number one British team?
Oh God.
Yeah. Yeah, let that sink in for a second. So,
Are
yeah.
they really?
Yeah, they were, because
Oh my God.
Red Bull is Austrian, Ferrari's Italian, Alpine's French, Mercedes is German. Oh, no, Aston Martin, I guess, was 6. Never mind.
Yeah.
Mm.
I was gonna say that doesn't sound right.
Yeah, that's fair. I almost had it.
But
Yeah,
he
Latifi
got
got
2
the
points.
points.
The real reason that the FIA said, yeah, we're awarding full points, because I think he would have just missed out otherwise.
And here's my piss off of the week.
Oh, that isn't the tires?
No, Latifi's odds going into this race, 4 points, was
Oh.
plus 2,500.
Oh,
I
no.
tried to bet on him being in the points before the race, and the site was like, we're trying to confirm your location. We cannot confirm your location. So because the stupid Ontario betting laws, I was not able to bet on Latifi.
Oh, well, that's lame.
Yeah, that was real piss off. So of course he got in the
Aw.
points because I couldn't bet on him.
That's the only reason why.
It's the only
And-
reason.
I'd
Honestly.
rather, not just to spite you, I'd rather have Latifi get some points on his way out
Yeah, me too.
than you
Yeah.
win some money.
Agreed. And in awesome start of the day, we have to also talk about Lance Stroll, the other Canadian. Well, because 1 Canadian, and 2, that start was nuts.
Yeah, ballsy. So-
Didn't he gain like 8 positions?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and nearly took off his entire right side.
Yeah, he was basically as close to the wall as you can get.
Oh my goodness.
Which, looking
Yeah.
at that track, is even more ballsy because all the water goes to the right.
Hmm.
And Stroll was like, that's where I'm going to go.
Yep.
Yep. He
He's
just,
not the smartest guy out there, but he got the job done.
but it worked.
Sometimes you just gotta turn your brain off and send it.
Yeah, just got to drive with the balls, right?
Yeah.
Don't think, just go. But yeah. So any other thoughts on the final, I guess, or any final thoughts on the F1 race, the Japanese Grand Prix?
I hope they do it better next year.
The fans are
Please
great.
do it better. I
Yeah,
know the fans
those-
are great. Put Vettel in the FIA. He could do something, or make them see sense. I don't know, but there needs to be change.
No, I agree, 100%.
Do we want to fully go over all the cost cap shenanigans now?
Sure, yeah, let's hit that quickly. before
Everyone's
we get the rest of it.
favorite talk. Everyone's favorite talk of money.
So
The
yeah,
best thing to come out of this. Sorry, the best thing to come out of this was all
The
of
memes?
the Jordan Belfort comparisons.
I don't get that.
You didn't see the Wolf of Wall Street? I sent you the video.
Oh, yes, that one.
26,000. They said it was all catering. $26,000 on sides. One of these sides cure cancer. Well, that's the problem. The sides do cure cancer. That's why they were so expensive.
Nice. Yes, you did. That was funny. That was.
That was
But yeah,
great.
like they're over budget because of food catering
Yeah,
Catering.
and
Yes,
development.
it was-
apparently right.
yeah. It was all wings.
Or no, it was procedural error for Red Bull and for Aston Martin. I don't know what the fuck that means. I'm really curious to know what procedural error is.
It's like they said it's something to do with accounting, and I'm intrigued.
Yeah,
I need to read more about that and see.
yeah.
full
I'm
report.
curious how that one's going to come out. And the other one's like, yeah, oh, they're over budget, but not on car development, on catering.
Yeah,
They go to the accountant. Hey, yeah, see all these? Yeah, put them under wings, under catering. Yeah.
and I can't. There were so many good memes out of this. There was another one. Someone made like an animation of Max and Checo doing the the
It's
a
like
breakdown of yeah. Well, no, it was a breakdown of all these food items that were under catering, and it was all based off of
parts.
the parts. And it was like, yeah, it was Adrian's super spicy wings, and Yusef Checo chime in. Yeah, causes a lot of downforce. Sorry, downforce. Yeah, downforce in the loo later. They're very spicy. Really gets the system going.
Okay, so before Taylor has to go, quick prediction of what we think the penalty will be.
I think it's just going to be a financial fine. I don't think that they're going to do any like championship. Like for last year's championship, I don't think it'll be taken away. I think it'll just be like a financial penalty of some sort.
Yeah, it's still a minor overspend, so I think I gotta agree. If anything, they'll do constructors points because I think someone pointed out, yeah, if you do a constructors penalty of like even just 50 to 100 points, Red Bull was up by 262 and they weren't close to Mercedes, so they'll probably do that as like a see, we penalized them.
Yeah,
we're good.
Exactly.
I think it should be a fine, and however much they were over, that comes off the budget for this year, and you double it. So if you're over 2 mil, 4 mil, your budget's under by 4.
Here, the only problem I have with that is that they're announcing it at the end of the year with 4 races to go.
Yeah.
If I'm handling that budget, I just sit there with like, what do you want me to do? We're already over budget.
It doesn't penalize you for this year, but it'll also penalize you for next year. So you got to be even more stingent on the budget for next year.
Yeah, but so if you're over this year again, do you just perpetually take these penalties and now you're like, well, so next year we're going to be X amount under, and then we're X amount under after they finally get rid of these or give us this year's penalties in October next year. Like there's got to be some way the FIA can the FIA has to speed up a decision.
It's never gonna happen.
Yeah, you're fucked in that one, buddy.
Yep. So
yeah, if anything, or just take away like wind tunnel testing.
Yeah.
Like say you're under the 5, you now lose 5% more testing. Especially for a team that's at the top, yeah, do that. Handicap.
Yep.
Let's try to get that field a little closer. So, yeah. Taylor, you heading out now?
I gotta head out. Time to eat.
No worries.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Well, enjoy your NASCAR talk.
Will do.
Bye.
And 3 is down to 2. And now we can talk tin tops.
Tin tops.
What? They have roofs.
Yeah,
Never hear of like stock cars or sports cars called tin tops?
That's a term I haven't heard in a long time.
Okay. So, NASCAR.
So, Roval playoffs or final race of round of 12.
I don't even know where to start with NASCAR. Everything is just awful.
There's a perfect place to start because
go for it.
You just go by the playoff implications. So we get the announcement midweek of the appeals team has looked at the Byron Hamlin incident and they are giving him the points back. Byron the points back. So he's gone from he was in the playoffs. After the penalty, he's out of the playoffs. When the penalty is rescinded, he's back in the playoffs. The problem is you've already run a race in between him losing the points and him getting the points back. And Chase Briscoe was pissed about this because he was like, well, I went from being in the playoffs because I took a conservative race in Talladega and just tried to survive and stay as high as I can to I might have to win my way in now. Which
there's a lot of foreshadowing in that sentence right there.
Yeah. And honestly, that was a whole bunch of bullshit. Like you gotta make that call earlier.
Okay, but here's the whole thing. Like the fact that was appealed is the stupidest thing ever, right? Like that is the equivalent of me hitting someone with my car on camera, getting arrested for it, going to jail, appealing it, them looking at the video, seeing me hit them with the car, and be like, yeah, you're fine.
Yeah, there's a really funny video, especially with the fact that they have the onboard camera of him just going in and going straight at the right rear bumper. There's a really funny video. I can't remember what the title is, but it's like, they got you on 4K. What do you want me to do?
Yeah, they got you on 4K.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. They caught you in 4K. Yeah. It's like,
yeah,
that's a great video.
But yeah, like Yeah, if I'm in the playoffs now, whether it's this year until NASCAR makes some sort of change, and I see Buddy who's just in front of me in the playoffs, whoops, I hit him. Darn. You can't, if whether I did it intentionally or not, I don't care. Slap me with a fine. I'll send it to the appeals. Oh, got my points back. I'm in the playoffs. He's not. I can make more money in the playoffs than out. I'll make the money back at the very least.
That's fair. So, because there's so much there I want to unpack in terms of hitting someone, maybe having a teammate do something, stuff like that.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a second.
So let's talk about the actual race. So, going into this race, though, Christopher Bell needed a win. He was so far out of it, and he was fucked for the entire race. He was not in this race.
Yeah, he was basically, of the 11 guys left, because Bowman was out with injury, he was done no matter what. He was the 11th driver, basically.
He was the true, you need a win here.
Yeah.
Like, he was literally like Game 7 facing elimination, if you want to use that stick and ball reference. He's there. He's trying.
Yeah, he's down late in the third and needs a miracle.
And he pulls the goalie, if you want to use that analogy, with like 3 laps to go, takes the pit stop, gets the fresh tires, and we get a caution.
Yep, because the curb fell apart.
I can't imagine NASCAR may have had that one in their back pocket just in case. No?
That's a little tough to call. I don't know why you'd want specifically Chris Bell winning this, but sure. It wouldn't surprise me.
I mean, which other Toyotas are left?
Hamlin, and that's it.
Yeah. Yeah, you want to get an extra Toyota in that. And at least in the final 8, you almost want to have 4 and 4. Or, sorry, at least 2 of each.
There you go.
Oh, look, they have 3, and 2.
And
wow.
Yeah,
funny.
maybe.
Funny how that works. Anyway, so Bell gets his pit stop, starts from, I don't know, mid-pack-ish on the restart.
He was about 6th or he was 3rd or 4th row. I can't remember which one it was. Gets another caution after getting past everyone but Harvick. Everyone but Harvick. I think he was battling
Reddick and
Chase.
Reddick and Elliott kind of, helps destroy each other's chances.
Yep. So, oh yeah, that's right. Completely forgot Reddick spun Elliott, which was funny, but didn't really
absolutely
matter for.
Punted him. Didn't matter for either.
Didn't really.
Their fate is sealed for next round.
Exactly. So, yeah. So then he gets the restart in 2nd and just takes whatever lane Harvick does. The only difference is Harvick's tires are about 30 laps older. So you tell me who's going to win that one.
Yeah.
Not really a surprise. And then just runs away with it on the restart and wins his way in.
That was awesome to see, though. I'm not going to lie. I really liked watching him win that.
Yeah. For a very boring race. So did I. So, wow, we both won money.
Hey, look at that. That's our first in a while.
Yep. But, yeah, for a very boring race, it was at least a fun ending, I guess, because it was not an overly entertaining race, and it only got about a 19% approval rating on Jeff Gluck's.
Was it a good race poll?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was it was not. So.
And then so you had Bell winning, and then the rest of the seating fell the way it did.
Yep. So.
And you ended up having eliminated from this round was Alex Bowman, who out with injury, unfortunate, but he's done.
Yep.
Austin Cindric. No surprise, really. Didn't really.
Yeah, he had the second lowest odds coming in. It's not really
Daniel Suarez again, and I think we almost kind of predicted this.
Yeah, well, and Suarez had a chance. He was doing well, but he also had Trackhouse had a horrible day. They had a horrible day.
Yeah.
Can't remember what Chastain had some issues, but Suarez's big issue was he didn't have power steering, which is
Needed.
on some tracks. I was gonna say on some tracks, it's easy. On a road course where you're turning multiple times, not that easy. So, yeah, he had a power steering issue, which they eventually got fixed. By that point, he had already fallen back so far. It wasn't like I don't think he really had a chance in hell.
Yeah, he had a rough day. For a guy who needed to have a good day, it really couldn't have gone any worse.
He was not meant to be in the round of 8.
No.
So.
And also, neither was Kyle Larson, apparently.
Yeah, Kyle Larson just got shuffled out at the end of it. So.
Do you want to talk about the Briscoe and who was it? Cole Custer issue?
Yeah. Well, just quickly on Larson and Byron, they basically traded one Hendrick car for another at the end of it. So.
Yeah, exactly. It's like what did I send you? It was the
yeah
Hendrick.
I've won but at cost. Yeah,
Yeah.
I know who I'd rather have. I'd rather have Kyle Larson there.
Yeah, I think Larson actually has a chance to win the championship. Byron does not.
Yeah. So
remember that Bell bet I said a couple weeks
Yeah.
ago? Bet on Bell?
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, he's there, but
I'm
still got.
okay. We can talk. Okay, we'll talk about this in a minute. We can go with our predictions for who's going to get out of the next round.
Yeah, still an uphill fight.
Yeah, but yeah. So what happened the last couple laps? Briscoe was that he
Not even the last couple. The
last lap. Cole Custer basically just pulled a pick on whoever. I can't remember who it was, but it was whoever Briscoe was chasing. Custer was actually ahead of both of them. And going into the final chicane, Custer just braked super early and just checked up on him, brake test him essentially, allowing Briscoe to gain 2 spots and just make it in. Because I think going into that corner, they were tied on points, or maybe even Briscoe was out.
I can't remember which it was. I'm just trying to find Briscoe here in the standings. No, it wasn't Blaney. Who did he? Oh no, it was just the fact that he got points. I think it's literally the fact that
he got in points.
Yeah, he got the extra couple points by moving up a couple spots.
Yeah,
and that bumped everyone down.
Yeah, that just was enough to bump Larson out and get himself in. So yeah, that's unfortunate for Kyle Larson. Defending champ, and you're out.
Yep.
Now, that whole play with Custer and Briscoe, what is your take on it? Is that something that needs to be penalized, or is that something we're kind of cool with?
Well, before we get to that, let's get NASCAR's take on it, because this came out 4 hours ago.
Yeah, you go for
which
it.
was
I haven't read it.
Custer has been fined $100,000 and docked 50 points. They also fined crew chief Mike Shiplett $100K and indefinitely suspended him.
Okay, why? Because this is
that's all only related to slowing down with Briscoe trying to get points.
Okay, here's my take on that. Fuck off. It's bullshit.
Yeah. Let's just take away all teammate assists.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
If you bump draft a guy, if you bump draft your teammate and pass a guy, sorry, dock points.
Yeah, you're not allowed to. Whenever you chop the nose off a guy on an oval and he's not on your team, well, you're helping a teammate somehow. It might not look
like
like
you're a lapped car and your teammate is chasing down the leader, can't help him.
Yep.
Bullshit.
Yeah, it's one of those things.
And it's not like you're not causing an accident. You're not doing anything that's terrible. You've literally just checked up on one guy to allow your teammate to pass. And in doing that, if that's not the last lap, that happens any other time in the race, no one bats an eye.
Yep.
I think that kind of racing should be fine. Teammates should be able
Yeah,
to
I
help
mean-
teammates. It's not like it's back when the was it the Michael Waltrip racing, where they intentionally caused cautions, and were ordered to do so. And then they also sent their other car down the pit lane just so the one car could get that extra point. Yeah, that is some serious race fixing. Because you caused the
NASCAR
caution and you got your guy out of the way. 2 big red flags. This is just a guy trying to help his teammate out by allowing a guy to pass him and pass one guy and him.
And realistically, I think Briscoe knew where he was, and he was probably so he sent it into the bus stop. I think he was going to send it regardless of who was there.
Yes.
He knows he's on the cut line.
Yeah.
He's
100%.
going to send it. I don't think Briscoe wasn't in the playoffs last year, I don't think, right? Like
Not that I recall, but also it's been
so
like within
a
the
year.
last 6 months is my memory anyway, so.
Yeah. So either way, I think when you know you're on the cut line, you're going to try and send it through so that way if you have a chance, you're getting the points.
Yeah.
Because that's the one spot where you definitely can try and outbreak everybody.
Yes, 100%. That's like your best passing zone.
Like realistically, the difference in what happened and what possibly could have happened if it wasn't Cole Custer is this move was extremely clean. I don't even think the car's touched. If it's not Cole Custer and it's not a teammate, I think they just go door to door the entire way through and they swap paint.
And like it's not even like you brake checked a guy who was in the playoffs. You're just brake checking another competitor in the field. The fact that you doing that helped your teammate and hurt Kyle Busch, who was already behind you. Be quiet, cat. He meowed.
Nice.
Because it's what you get when you want to run these playoffs, but you already run with the entire series every week. So you can't just single one guy out and be like, oh, you helped a guy in the playoffs. Of course I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
Either ditch playoffs or live with the consequences of someone's going to help someone.
Yeah. I'm just trying to find who it was that they... Oh, it was Austin Dillon that they sort of ran the pick on.
Let me see where he is in the standings.
No, he's nowhere.
Yeah, exactly. So he's 13th. Point proven. It's not like it affects the standings overall. It just helped one guy in the playoffs. But this is what you want, NASCAR. You want to be a stick and ball sport. Have stick and ball plays. Anyway. Who's your
As a Leafs
prediction?
fan,
Who's your
I'd
prediction
say
for getting knocked out now? Who's going to make it to the Final Four? 3 races left.
Okay, so our final 8 right now in this order are Elliott, Logano, Chastain, Bell are currently in, and Blaney, Byron, Hamlin, and Briscoe are on the outside. So I would say Chris Bell has used his last miracle, and he's probably not going to make it. I think Blaney's consistency gets him through to the Final Four.
Logano's kind of sneaked up there, eh?
Oh, he's only 20 points back. It's
I know.
kind of surprising. But I don't think... Actually, what do we got? We got Vegas, we've got Homestead, and we've got Martinsville.
Okay, I'll tell you what I think will happen, and I'll tell you what I want to see. Okay?
Okay, go for it.
So who I think it'll be Elliott, Logano, Hamlin, and probably Blaney. Blaney's consistent, and I'm assuming Hamlin's the guy who'll get the win.
Okay.
What I want to see is Elliott, Byron, Bell, Hamlin.
That would be good. JGR versus Hendrick.
Exactly. And have a
Yeah.
2v2 fight. That'd be really fun.
I'd be very okay with that. It would suck for Blaney, and again, I do think Blaney will make it, but that would be fun.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm just think like I don't think Briscoe's gonna make it. He's already used his little miracle. What are you? No.
The cat wants out.
Could suck it up, but
He started coming and biting my legs under the desk.
nice.
So, yeah, I think my way is kind of fun.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and you already have the bad blood of Byron and Hamlin to fuel that as well.
Oh, yeah.
Like it's not just like because you could like in your scenario, you could also say, yeah, do Logano and Blaney and have Penske versus either or probably Hendrick, but
Yeah, you can either go like Elliott, Byron, Blaney, Logano. That could be fun too.
yeah.
Have a
Basically, you just
2v2.
want to, yeah, exactly.
I want to see two guys in the same team in there, really.
Complete chaos. Go Elliott, Logano, Chastain, and Bell, or any combination where it's 1v1v1v1.
Or here it is. The four that make it are all from different teams. They have Elliott, Logano, Chastain,
Bell, like I just said.
Yeah, let's go with those four. And then the other four who miss out basically play defense and basically try to take out the other guys in the last race. I think that would be maximum chaos and really fun. Does NASCAR have the balls to actually allow that to happen? Not at all.
No, Briscoe just gets paired with Chastain out of
Close enough.
need.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway.
So
that's all we got for this week.
oh well.
Do you want to save W series for next week?
Yeah, we'll save W series for next week. But I was gonna say quickly while we've got it.
Hit it.
Two announcements for NASCAR next year. AJ Allmendinger's coming back with Callig, which I like.
I like that too. He had a great year and also almost won the Roval race too.
Yep. That got announced last week and we just didn't have time to cover it. The bigger one, which sort of just came out today, is Tyler Reddick might be getting bought out early and moving to 23-11 next season.
Does Kurt Busch get bought out early then?
Does Kurt Busch just retire?
Yeah, does he even come back?
Yeah. At this point, I'd say 50, I don't think he is.
I'd say 50-50.
Yeah. But so Reddick's going in early, which I don't know what that means if Childress already has that extra charter. I don't necessarily blame Reddick because why are you going to race in the extra car when you have possibly another car in there? So I think at this point, Kurt is done. Maybe he comes back for like special events like Daytona, the Coke 600, stuff like that. But he's I'd say you don't make this move without having that already done.
So hypothetically, so let's say Kurt Busch is out next year or gets bought out, but he's recovered enough. Does he do the 500 again?
Yeah, like that's what I mean. Like
Can we get
he'll do
both
special...
Busch brothers doing the Indy 500?
Oh, you're saying Indy 500?
Yeah,
that'd be fun.
Well, because there's talk about maybe Kyle doing it, maybe not. Who knows?
Yeah, they've
Them?
already talked about him getting into an extra Chevy engine.
Yeah.
For the 500. So yeah, Kurt would just have to find a seat with whoever. He wouldn't be tied to anything, right? So,
yeah, exactly. Which is probably even easier to do.
Exactly. So yeah, I think you could see it again. I think at this point, Kurt might be done full time, and again might just come in for special stuff or injury backup
replacement.
I think. Yeah. I don't know what seat is open even at this point. Well, I guess he could join his brother.
Yeah, honestly,
if they've got the extra charter at RCR. So
yeah, maybe.
But it depends. Yeah, I think at this point it depends. He's taken this long with the concussion. Does he feel good enough to get back in the car full time? Does he want to?
Does he have the pace?
I don't think pace would really be an issue. It's not like he wasn't doing great.
I mean, if you've already had a head injury, maybe you're not as fast coming back, right?
Yep. So I'm sure they'll get all cleared up in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah.
But the rumor is that Reddick is going to 23-11 next year and that will be announced this weekend at Las Vegas.
Okay, cool.
So
we will wait and see what happens this week.
yep.
And on that note, thank you very much for listening to this episode. If you had any thoughts on it, please feel free to comment or to send us hateful tweets. Steven loves that. And we will be back next week. Goodbye.
Thanks for listening to Spare Parts. Remember to follow the show on Twitter at sparepartspod and the hosts at Stephen Clary, at Sean Cavarella, and at Tate Moore.